Alright, so tonight, doing the fourth video in a series of Mikawa Shiro Nagura. This is the third one on the individual stones. And tonight, we're talking about Mejiro. So why am I on a synthetic stone, you're asking? Well, this is a Shapton 5K. It's one of the pro stones, ceramic binder, high quality stone, works well. I actually like it better than the nagura-do or the professional 5K. It's got a nicer feedback to me. Nagura polish is better. Well, it gives it a higher polish. I hesitate to say better, and is a bit finer. This is really more like a 3K in the Nagura series. Good mid-range stone. Let me turn the camera around. I gotta do a little lapping. I hope you don't get dizzy from this. Yeah, that should be good. All right. So, I started honing this razor again for like the umpteenth billionth time because I have a few things I want to test. Somebody sent me some silly plastic stropping material, and I got a ton of stones. That's why I'm out here at the sink, actually. I can't even get to my bench to, what do you call it? Hold on. That'll change tomorrow. These 5Ks came in. Water's too warm. You don't want to lap on the really warm water. You want to have something close to room temp. Alright. I started working with them, and I really like it. I figure I got to use that razor for doing some testing. Alright, see here, see, I got some grid there. Now, believe me, I don't use grids as a final say whether or not the stone is absolutely flat. But what I got to do, what I have here, see, got some grid left. That's probably a little bellied because I really beat up on this stone last night. I just went crazy on it. It was flat when I started. See a little bit of discoloration in there, but that's just the stone. It's not a low point. That's drier or wetter, it's just the way the stone looks. Nice stone, cuts evenly. Scratch pattern's very good. And 3K is a jump point for Nagura, for me. Not normally. Okay, ready? Let's spin around again. Where's the stone? There's the stone. Whoops. Your new angle. Alright. That should do it. One of the ways I test things, test Nagura, is jumping from one synth, next synth, following synth, in a progression, and I see what I have there. It's a little crazy sometimes. You know what? I don't think that's Nagura slurry. Let me clean that off. I changed G-nuts too. It's a really nice Nakayama Muro. I believe I think it's deeper stratum than Tome. Good hard stone, quality stone, very high quality stone actually. Today's thing, Mejiro, I have them over here. Alright, there's one, another one, and this big bad boy. Now in the other clips you saw, I had a bench stone cut from the Nagura also. Yes, it's definitely Mejiro. But I don't have a Mejiro bench stone right now. I had a set, I sold them, and they're up in Canada, living happily, and I've been rebuilding that set since. I'm looking for a nice Mejiro now, and I'll probably get one, and I'll have it for a while, and then someone will be into it, and then, you know, things change. Anyway, these are 3 prime pieces here. This one you see marked Tenjyou, uneven shape, predominantly white, but it has a big honking orange dot on the top of it, which I think is kind of cool. I love personality traits in rocks. This one here, again, Tenjyou, uneven shape, predominantly white. That's my cataloging stuff on the bottom. I should make sure I don't lose that. That one's on the side, good. And this big bad boy here is marked Tokyo, uneven shape, has striping. Now, this one is kind of special to me. It is a nice big piece. I really get my hand on it, and has particular quality. I'll show you in a little while. I hope the camera can pick it up, but see what happens. If not, you just have to rely on what I'm telling you to be accurate. Anyway, Mejiro is the 3rd stone in my progression. Boten being coarsest is first. Tenjyou, next finest stage. And in the last video I said, you know, that's where the refinement starts. You know, don't put that down as like that's a, you know, some sort of spreadsheet entry. You know, that's just how I look at it. All right, and then, you know, for me, I go from Tenjyou, I go to Mejiro. Sometimes I say Mejiro is where it gets real. That's just me talking. That's how I think. That's how I view things. All right. Mejiro precedes Koma, follows Tenjyou. That's for me. Some people, they don't use both. They use one or the other. It's a known fact, Tenjyou is a little easier to work with. So anybody starting out may want to focus on that and then bring Mejiro in as they're working and learning how the slurry from the stones, they all work together. When I say it's when it gets real, what I'm talking about there is you're taking your refinement up a good notch. Mejiro I have, they're usually harder than the hardest Tenjyous. The slurry breaks down, sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but the resulting breakdown usually yields an extremely fine slurry. They're not a stone that I would use to shave off of, or if I have a really hard stone, I can shave off of Mejiro and be, you know, comfortable, but it's not going to be like a real finished edge. They're the stone, they're the Nagura. If I'm going to do a touch-up, like for real, like let's say I'm shaving, I got like, I don't know, a year on a blade and so on and so forth, and I'm kind of bored with it or whatever, which happens more often than me getting to a year on a single edge, I'll start on Mejiro. Some people say, why don't you start on Koma? I say, well, I've tried that and I do better when I start on Mejiro. Well, that's extra work, it takes longer. Well, it doesn't have to really take a long time. It might take longer because, yes, it's another stage, but for me it works better. One thing I just want to say, you know, a lot of people have like quick answers, fast answers based on, you know, whatever their experience is. You never really know. Somebody does something once, it doesn't work, and then they go run around the internet and they're like telling everyone, you know, it's like this, it's like that. Whatever. Do yourself a favor, try everything. But don't think because you did it once, 10 times, even 20 times. Don't think you got it. Just don't. Because honing, it's a craft, you know? And like any craft, like any art, a little something in there. Like it takes time, right? And you're supposed to want to take the time. If you don't want to take the time, don't use these stones. Seriously. Stick to Shaptons and naniwas or whatever. All right. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it's here. It's my pencil. I always have a pencil when I'm honing. I write stuff down all the time. Right here, it's blue. When they get damp, that blue pops out. Yeah, I'll show you. I think you can see that pretty well. What does that mean? How do I know? It means it's blue. I think it's kind of cool. I've noticed it on some Mejiro, not all. One or two fellows in Japan, one is a sword polisher. He's, let's say, aware of this. See why I like the big stone? It's back and forth. Covers the whole LSA. A little more water here. And he feels, okay, that the blue has to do with, you know, part of a vein, the seam, and it coming from a particular location. Now, he's put this together through conjecture. It makes sense to me, but I don't know. I will say that not everyone turns blue. And I will also say that all of the ones that have turned blue on me have been kind of really damn good. You know, and you're saying, well, you know, aren't all Mejiro the same? Well, no, they're not actually all the same at all. They may all be Mejiro, but that doesn't mean that all Mejiro are the same. Think of it like cold cuts. You go to a deli in a not so great area and you order a salami sandwich. Yeah, it might be good, might be okay, might be a little weird. You go to a nicer area of town, you go to a deli, guy's got 4 different salamis, calls them out to you by name. You recognize one of the brands, you pick it, and you're like, oh, now that's a salami sandwich, right? Pick any food, pizza, whatever, peanut butter, whatever, doesn't matter, all right? It's like that, all right? It's still salami over there in that other place. It's definitely salami. You can see that it's salami, all right? But the brand, you know, or whatever, it's going to be more to your liking. Now, the difference is, you know, we're all talking here about, I'm talking predominantly about Asano. Yeah, so that's a brand. But remember, they're pulling them out of the ground. They're not making them in a factory, right? So my analogy is a little flawed, but I'm trying to make a point. I remember the first time I bought a Asano stamped Nagura from someone online. I got them, and I started doing my testing thing, and the next day I slept on it, and I got up and I shot the guy an email, and I'm like, you know, dude, what's up with this? Because the Mejiro is coarser than the Tenjyou. And he wrote back something like, well, you know, maybe the Tenjyou is just faster. It shouldn't be that way. Or maybe you're mistaking the speed for the course or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, okay, fine. So I go through another testing thing. It's like, no. Okay, it was a Asano stamp Nagura, and bottom line was, in that set, Tenjyou was finer than the Mejiro. I don't have that set anymore. As I got further into all of this, wound up learning more and started setting up my own sets and culling through piles of rock to, get what I want. And everyone's got their own their hobbies. That's one of mine. So anyway, the Mejiro, right? My start point for a touch-up. It's a step after Tenjyou. So what am I looking for here? Well, I'm extending the refinement I started on Tenjyou. See, my slurry is wet. I like that. And it's going to take it a little bit further. You might be asking, well, Keith, how long does it take? Well, it takes as long as it takes. I usually take my time. You don't want to go, forever in a day. You get to a point where the slurry is no longer doing anything. You can learn your stones, your nagura, by the first few times going like ridiculously slow and checking the bevel with a loupe or a microscope or whatever. And, you change in the feel. Okay, I already have a change in the feel here, and I'm not working I'm not working particularly fast. Drinking a soda while I'm talking to you guys, not the best move. Anyway, throat's dry. It's winter time and it's dry in here. So anyway, you get to learn the feel, on this stone. Then you move to another stone, it's going to feel a little different, but there'll be some similarities. So you get your game on that way. I like to put your feedback, your visuals, your indicators. I like to put it all together. My undercut here is good. This is a particularly fast Mejiro. I tested some stones early in the year, last year, being sold by, never mind, being sold by some guy. Let me just say that. And they were garbage, right? Just pure crap. Maybe not all of them, but the ones I saw, and there were a bunch of them. And a buddy of mine checked a bunch too, and they were crap too. You can hold a freaking year on that thing, and you're gonna go one step past go, and that's it. Die. This has really taken my 3K edge up quite high. I can feel it on the stone. I have, that thing people call suction and what have you. I already have it. It's a very efficient stone. Now, in my process, if I was honing this to shave on, I would definitely go Botan Tenjyou Mejiro. I'm just doing this to make a point, and so I can compare my bevel here to what happens when I absolutely do that. I have a Shapton 1.5K bevel setter and the 5K in the sink, so I'm going to do, hone, check Mejiro, hone, check Tenjyou Mejiro, hone, check Botan Tenjyou Mejiro. And I'm going to see what I get from that. I'll probably finish that last one. What time is it? It's like 8 o'clock now. I'll probably do some other stuff in between doing all of this, but I really don't expect to be done with my, whatever you want to call it, my prognosis, until probably 1 or 2 in the morning. You notice I don't have a lot of water on the stone right now. And this is basically right here how I like to hone. I have a little bit of a drip. I like to put a little bit more water on than what I had. But, you don't want a river up here, okay? It's self-defeating. It's a difference between demonstrating and actually honing for an edge. Sometimes some of the things I say might seem contradictory, but they're not. Now, feedback, right? What kind of feedback you get from Mejiro? Well, all kinds, because, well, it's a rock, comes out of the ground, and Mother Nature has an incredible sense of humor. This one here has the most ridiculously fine, yet still granular feeling. It is not pasty at all. But I have to really work it, letting my hands detect that slightly grainy thing. So what I'm talking about is the difference between you know, honing on salt and honing on M&Ms, right? This is comparatively like the salt thing, you know, way finer than the M&M experience. Sometimes Mejiro is quite loud. Same with all of them, really. Some of them feel really bumpily. Yes, that's a highly technical term, bumpily. Yeah, this is just about done, you know, for this. I'll put the 1.5K down and start this over in a little while. All right, so what I've done here, right, is taken a 3K edge effectively up to where the Mejiro can take it. What I know is that I can probably shave off of that, but I probably won't be happy. It just doesn't feel like I got it, right? It is good for me to know exactly where the Shapton 5K is against this particular Nagura. And making those comparisons sort of help me, you know, target where each of the other ones are, you know, in the box that's not out here, because I have a bunch of new Nagura that came in also. I'll be testing them for a little while. If you find a pasty, sort of a softer type of Mejiro that really is Mejiro, and you know, not just some piece of chalk somebody stamped up somewhere, they're really fine to work with also. I love that pasty feeling. It's really nice. However, I've yet to find a Mejiro that goes as fine as this big one. This one is a killer piece. It was kind of expensive, you know. And people talk about, you know, the cost of them and everything. It's like, oh, well, you know, I found a girl for $25 or whatever. And it's like, okay, fine, you know, that's good. That stone I just showed you did not cost $25. It wasn't ridiculously expensive, but it cost me some coin. And that's my thing. It doesn't have to be your thing. If you buy a cheaper stone and you like it, that's great. Me, I've been working it, putting things together and sets rather, together, and working them different ways with different razors and different stones, and you know, it's just my end of the hobby. It doesn't have to be yours. If you have a Mejiro and you like it, you like it. You know, but don't be surprised. You know, you wind up over some guy's house. You try a stone out, and you're like, "Well, what the hell is this? This makes mine look stupid." Because I've been through that too, and you know, that's just the way it goes. Whatever. They say ignorance is bliss, right? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little bit of testing on this. They really am not under any time constraints. You see the slurries coming up, you know, it's pretty white. That's like a hard stone. It's one of those like crazy, sick, good Marukas. Not one of those like, no, we put a Maruka stamp on this thing to get it out the door. Yeah, that happens. That's another story. Yeah, this is a real nice old-time piece of Nagiyama. You see, I have like major undercut, like right out of the gate. Okay, totally different feedback. Still granular, more granular. I have more vibration. It's right here. It's all right there, and the fingers you gotta feel. All right, more vibration there. I'm gonna take a guess that if I keep doing this, I'm gonna pull up a wire on this thing. So I really should stop, because I really don't want to go through that removal and then rehoning process. I don't mind going another, you know, 30 passes or whatever on the 1.5K just to bring it out down to 0, but at the same time, I'm out here talking about Mejiros and just wanted to show. I wish you could feel what I'm experiencing here, but you know, the wonders of the internet are somewhat limited. Now, I already have a change in the slurry. And I've used this particular Mejiro a bunch of times also, and yeah, it's already smooth, or smoother. Still not as smooth as that big one, but that's what we call like a slurry break. Now, before the internet scientists come after me, that's just what we call it. We want to assume that the slurry breaks down, and then we say that there's a point in your honing, or a couple of them, with any nagura, where you get that feedback change, and you know you have a reduction in particle size, or at least it's emulating that. Well, you know, if you do your own testing, you can put together conjecture, and you can come up with what really goes on. You know, we know the particles don't get bigger. That we know, right? Just, you know, trying to turn over a new leaf this year and not completely avoid all of that argumentative bullshit. It's hard because, you know, because I'm opinionated. I'm opinionated, but I can back it up. I'm not one to hide behind a keyboard. I don't, even if I'm like engaged on the internet, it's like I still feel like I'm hiding behind a keyboard. I'd rather just tell somebody to their face that they're full of shit and they don't know what they're talking about. So when I'm on the internet from now on, it's going to be more like, yeah, fine, whatever. Because it's all for naught. Somebody just pointed out to me, there are no stakes. There just are no stakes here. There's nothing at stake. You know, somebody wants to have the loudest voice, wants to be more right or whatever, fine. You can have it. That's your life. Two things. One, you might want to change that. And two, it's really fucking sad. This is honing. It is not a lifestyle. It is not a religion. You sharpen and steel on a stone. So I had another break there, and not from the water. So this one is breaking in a less smooth way. It's kind of like going a little jerky. Goes, break, goes, sort of break. The other one kind of goes a little more like, what, linearly? And, you know, it just kind of like progresses and you can feel it under the blade. I don't know that I'd pick a nagura specifically over a quality like that. I don't think it's all that important. What is important is that you're not screwing up your razor and you're not wasting your time. You look at your bevel and you have, like, you know, psychotically deep rogue scratches in there, then, you know, you got like a jacked up stone. If your edge hasn't progressed anywhere, you know you have a jacked up stone. Yeah, I'm going to stop here because the blade is about to glue itself. Well, there you go. To stone. I may be wrong. I actually may be able to shave off of this and not like be too pissy about it. This is an amazing stone though, so that's partially it. The nagura are really high end, older cut pieces, really nice stuff. Tested, checked, used extensively. I hone a lot. I've done this like so many times. I'd like to say hundreds of times, but you know, someone's going to want to challenge me on it. You know, I don't count, and I don't have, you know, video proof of whatever, but like what you see me doing here now, this happens most nights, has been that way for a really long time. I might spend the entire weekend doing this because there's like this ginormous pile of stone on my bench. Testing out new hones allows me to reevaluate nagura that I visited a while ago, and so on and so forth. It's just something that I'm into. Interesting, you see here the stone is a little dry already, and this is like a ridiculously hard stone. It really is. I mean, you know, it's not like marble hard, like one of those crappy Ozukos. Or whatever that you can find cheap on the internet. It's not like, you know, that stuff's like, I don't know, polished floor tile. But this is really hard and the water soaked in over here. And so, people tell you, hardness, I'll do the water test. Forget the water test, okay? Hone on it. Learn to feel it. You learn to sense, like, the give and how much of it there is. This stone is almost unique in today's market. You don't find stones of this quality so readily. Sensation is awesome. Anyway, it's not about this stone. It's about these Mejiro guys over here. So, anyway. I'm not getting a lot of questions on the Nagura, but hopefully that'll change. I like to share, a little bit if people don't know. Maybe everybody knows already. I have no idea. But I would just think that, given the chatter that I read in the forums, that there are people who are curious, and let me move this so I get a better view, about these stones. And if you have questions about using them and so on and so forth, just shoot me an email or leave it in the comments. Actually, that's better. I like to see other people answer the comments. That's what that's all about. Engagement and likes and all that other web analytics stuff. I don't care about it. I'd rather see a couple of guys who have good game come in and talk to other people. And then you have like a little community thing. That's awesome. Anyway, that's it. That's the third stone. It's Mejiro, and the next one is Coma. That'll be it. Anyway, Mejiro.